Alright, so it's my birthday and I was going to take the day off from doing videos to just relax, but I had to squeeze this one in because I found it to be a freaking riot. I know, on my birthday I'm about to fucking rant, but I gotta do it because the situation with Dragon Ball Super, the Dragon Ball franchise in general lately, but Dragon Ball Super in particular, has taken an interesting twist regarding some of the people behind the show giving their thoughts on our criticisms of the animation and art being, for the most part for Super, very inconsistent and at times just absolutely horrid, like episode 5. There was also all the talks in this article or whatever, and we're gonna go through all of that, but I just gotta say that some of the shit in this article is fucking hilarious to hear them defend the bullshit that has happened with many of these episodes and the terrible art and the terrible animation we have to suffer here and there regarding Dragon Ball Super. But let's cover it. So for starters, they asked them, let's start with the origin of the new Dragon Ball wave. Are you satisfied with the reaction to Dragon Ball Kai? And they're absolutely satisfied. And then on top of that, Resurrection F being announced boosted the series' ratings and everything like that. So they were pretty happy with what they did with Dragon Ball Z Kai. I would say Dragon Ball Kai in the beginning, I really liked what they were doing. I mean, granted, we all wanted from the ground up redone art and animation of the series, which they could have cut down the amount of episodes that way and cut out shit that really wasn't necessary. I mean, I think at the very least they did a decent job in the beginning with doing that, especially reanimating some of the scenes and redoing just in general a lot of different scenes that looked horrible. And a lot of it up until Cell, which they talk about in this article as well, they did reanimated scenes, which was really fucking awesome. It was like, yeah, it's making it look fresh, and even though it's not exactly what we wanted, it was still a step in the right direction. And they asked him that question, why is it that after the Cell stuff, pretty much the part 2 of Dragon Ball Kai, the Majin Buu stuff, did they stray away from that? And what they pretty much explained in a nutshell is that basically the first parts of the series were really damaged and compared to the second part, so it was an easier way to do things like that because it was like they had no choice. Some scenes were just so bad that they couldn't just do a regular HD restoration, so they had to go that approach, but it still leaves an inconsistent product. I mean, at the end of the day, half the series sometimes just looks like completely, colored differently and everything, and then the other half just looks like Dragon Ball Z in general, like they put no work. And I think that that's an excuse that they used as well, just to go the cheaper route, because it's far cheaper to just do an HD restoration than do sometimes frame by frame redrawings and stuff like that. It's a lot cheaper that way. So I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, it's still a decent excuse in a sense, because they're like, yeah, the laws changed 10 years ago, a lot of different things, which, I'll link the article in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But I think in general, that's just kind of like, it's a decent excuse, but there was money issue as well. But they did ask, can we expect a Dragon Ball Resurrection C movie since Cell is the next Dragon Ball villain? And pretty much they said they wouldn't want to do that because drawing Cell is a nightmare because of all the little black spots on him. And I mean, I honestly think I would have been a little bit more hype about a resurrection of Cell than Frieza, because the possibilities with Cell being able to absorb people, all he got to do is absorb, sneak somebody, and bam, he's done. He could sneak behind somebody, absorb an incredibly strong fighter, and then he'll, be at the top ranks and shit like that. So I kind of probably would have preferred a resurrection of C, to be honest with you, but nonetheless, yeah, that's probably not ever happening. And just imagine with the bullshit that they do with the art and animation of Dragon Ball Super, them, if they already have a problem with just doing some of the normal shit, something that they struggle with, Cell, oh my gosh, that would look like some fucking Tagashi Hunter x Hunter on its worst day type of shit, and we don't want that. Something very interesting that they asked though is, what is the future for Dragon Ball movies then? Because, it's been quite a while since we have Resurrection F now, and they replied with, we're waiting to see what happens, but there may be something coming soon, which is really awesome, because regardless of what, even though I personally wasn't the biggest fan of Resurrection F, I love Battle of Gods. I mean, I've seen Resurrection of F like a bajillion times, and for what it was a fun movie, so yeah, I'm always welcoming more of those Dragon Ball movies because they've been pretty cool. Another interesting question that they ask is, while watching Resurrection F, there is some stuff that never gets fully explained, and they replied basically, it's not going to be 100% of the things, but a good chunk of those things will be explained later in Dragon Ball Super. So a lot of those questions about like Super Saiyan Blue and a lot of different things, they're going to explore that, which is a good thing, because that was one of the things that a lot of us were wondering. Like, there was a lot of vagueness in Resurrection of F regarding certain aspects, so yeah, they're going to dive straight into that with Super as it continues. But here we go, baby. Here it is. This is the drop bombshell that I was just like, really? Really? So speaking of Dragon Ball Super, what's up with the animation issues that have been happening? He replied, the criticism we receive has been too overblown. Someone put a few video sequences that look bad onto the internet and people focused on them when talking about an entire series. You cannot criticize an entire product by only looking at a few sequences. The animators responsible for those scenes are newbies who just started working at this level in the industry, which means their skills are evolving right now. Anyway, they are good animators and I just do not understand why they get picked on to such a degree. Really? There's so many things right now I can commentate on that. I mean, for starters, okay, I've seen a lot of videos. Me personally, I never really put images. I think once or twice I might have shown images and shit like that. So who knows exactly what he's talking about. I mean, I know one of my friends, Savage White Panda, made a video showing a couple of the images. So what? Is my YouTube friend, Savage White Panda, bullying the animators and picking on them? Like, you see how ridiculous that sounds? Not to mention the fact that you're saying they're newbies that are working at this level in the industry now. Why the fuck do you have newbies working on one of the most iconic and popular and beloved franchises of anime and manga in the entire world in a new product? Like, why do you even have them there to begin with? This is a very huge franchise. Wouldn't you want to get the top of the line so you can make the best product possible? And all in all, regardless of what, even if it's just a few sequences, I know in between shots in animation aren't going to look the prettiest or whatever, but it wasn't just in between shots, and that's something that I'm tired of hearing. Like, it's just a couple in between shots. No, there are full on, 10 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds, where it looks like my fucking ass cheeks had a pen in it and I just kept on scribbling on a fucking page with a couple of different colors. Like, it looks really fucking bad. There's not just like an in-between shot that the eyes can't even catch unless you're trying to get a screenshot. No, there are times where it just looks absolutely horrid. So I'm tired of hearing that it's just like one sequence or whatever. No, it's full on to the point where it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm disgusted. And granted, I am appreciative of Toei fixing up their bullshit in the Blu-rays that they're releasing, so that's good shit there. But nonetheless, don't give an excuse for bullshit at the end of the day, and don't say that we're picking on them. We're calling it as we see it. Just like when I saw the corrections that they made to the episode, I said, okay, good job there, but don't give us bullshit. And honestly, you should not have newbies working on one of the most biggest franchises in anime history. It's just unacceptable. And then it talks a little bit more about the anime industry in general, which is kind of interesting. Again, article will be in the description below. But yeah, I just had to give my take on all this. So we might be getting a new movie soon. It probably won't be a Resurrection of C, which, I mean, we already have Resurrection of F at this point. No more resurrections. Let's just get new shit. So there's that. And apparently they've heard our noise that we made in reply to the horrid art and animation of Dragon Ball Super from time to time. Not saying that Dragon Ball Super in general looks terrible with every, episode that passes, but yeah, don't have people fresh off the street fucking animating the shit that we've been growing up with our entire lives. Just saying. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.